Hello and welcome to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it is just me for this video because Kneon is out with Pinky Boo. They went to see the Dark Crystal, and apparently there was way more people in the theater for that than there was for Tron Ares. Shocker. But today we're going to talk about a couple things. There were some announcements about Avatar: The Last Airbender, including a video game and a YouTube Shorts series. And I'm just like, everybody's going to YouTube. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about how creators are the new Hollywood and all this stuff they're talking about with this. And they're only focused on the big creators. But these creators are the same creators who are now trying to get themselves deals with Hollywood. Like Matt Pat's going to be Bonnie in the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And they're just out there. Mr. Beast's constantly out there with Hollywood. But Hollywood is trying to use YouTube to get ahead, and it's not going to work. But unfortunately, I think they're going to try to blow everybody else up to make it work for them because they have the money. So we're going to talk about those two things. They're related in a way. So before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo, woohoo, and we're going to talk about this. So we're going to start with the Avatar. As you know, New York City Comic Con has been this weekend. There have been some different announcements, involving Marvel and different things like that. But Avatar, there was a panel for Avatar, and Avatar: Last Airbender is going to get a fighting video game, which I actually think is kind of interesting, and an animated YouTube series. And it's going to be like a typical Disney type situation here. We're going to talk about that. That's the one that got me like, oh, really? So they're going to do a game. The game makes sense, I guess, because the 20th anniversary, oh my gosh, it's 20 years. Wow. My family loved Avatar: The Last Airbender. When the kids were younger, before Korra came out, which don't get me started about Korra. We used to sit together every night and we'd watch a couple episodes of Avatar. And it was like our family thing. The kids would love it. They were little. They'd crawl up on our bed and we'd all watch it. And they still talk about it to this day. They loved it so much. Our son was getting the books, the graphic novels and things from school because he liked it. But, we love Avatar, Korra not so much. So I guess there was a panel and they featured some of the different original cast, the voice actors and things. And during the panel, they revealed that there's going to be a one-on-one fighting video game. It's going to be under the working title Avatar Legends, a fighting game. Well, that's, yeah. And it includes Aang, Katara, Sokka, Zuko, Azula, Toph, and Korra bleh, in 2D animation. It's going to show, I guess the fighting showed Aang using his airbending and avatar state and all this other stuff. Okay, anyway, so they're going to do this cool game, which that one I'm kind of interested in. That sounds kind of fun to me. But this is what got me. So they also are talking about a new show for YouTube. So basically they're crapping out stuff for YouTube, and it's short. And that's what we keep seeing. And Disney keeps doing the exact same type thing. But YouTube also, in their infinite wisdom, trying to compete with TikTok, keeps pushing shorts. But that's not what YouTube is. YouTube is YouTube, and TikTok is TikTok. And I don't think that, where they get a lot of popularity on some of these shorts, it doesn't benefit the creators too much because you don't make a lot of money on that. And like TikTok doesn't really pay their people either. I think it's going to be, they're trying to keep more money because it's Google. But in the end result is going to be Hollywood's going to come in, they're going to make deals with them, and they're going to try to push other people out. So they're doing this chibi style, which, 2D animated series of short videos. They'll be available to watch on YouTube. This is where the shorts will reimagine classic scenes from the series. So we're not even getting really new shorts. We're just getting reimagined things from the original show comics. Oh, they are going to have original stories too. But they're going to be shorts that are reimagined scenes from the series, the comics, and maybe some new stuff. And one of the videos adorably parodies the premiere episode. I think it's supposed to be Katara and Sokka discovering Aang and battling Zuko and the Fire Nation. So they're going to go all in on this YouTube idea because Hollywood is desperately trying to cling to YouTube. Disney keeps doing it. I know the Blue's Clues and stuff that Disney is, running that over here. They were popular on there. Cocomelon came from there. And Hollywood is desperately trying to control the internet and YouTube because they're losing their biscuit to creators there. And unfortunately, because Hollywood has money and YouTube and Google want to chase the money and the notoriety, they're probably going to win in the end. And I don't know if that's even for the best because people are on YouTube because they don't want Hollywood. But unfortunately, when you're a Hollywood studio and you have all kinds of money and you're like one of their big advertisers and you can demand that they push stuff to the forefront, You get things like, oh, Jimmy Kimmel had 22 million YouTube views. Well, of course he did. Because, Disney is one of their big advertisers, and I'm sure they're paying a lot of money to promote that. Because they'll get seen if you promote. So I'm sure that's part of it. So we're going over here to this other one. It was on the Financial Times. It was earlier last week, I believe. Oh, October 4th. Creators are the new Hollywood. The YouTubers take on the big studios. Because the big YouTubers don't want to be part of Hollywood. Thing is, they're never going to respect you in the way that they would their quote-unquote peers. You're not one of their peers. You're their competition. But if they can control you. Disney tried this with Maker Studios. Didn't work very well. But y'all want to be part of it. It is what it is. They're talking about different YouTubers who do things like this one chick who has Challenge Accepted and has 5 million subscribers and does like challenges from scenes from movies, apparently. And they have studios in Hollywood. And they said something is happening in Hollywood, Silicon Valley style disruption. I guess Neil Mohan, the YouTube chief executive, said. At last year, the opening of an 8,000 square Burbank Studios, another creator, because a lot of creators are opening studios in California. Personally, you couldn't pay me enough money to move to California. He said, YouTube, he continued, represents a shift away from content being produced by big traditional studios. Creators really are the new Hollywood. For now, until you guys decide that you want more money from Hollywood. And these are also, this brain trust is also the one who I think keeps effing over YouTube as it is right now. You keep making these bad decisions, and now you're out there bragging how you're going to make YouTube the new Hollywood, so you're focusing on these people who do Hollywood-type things. So you're telling me everything I need to know. Hollywood can't be YouTube, but they're going to win because dipshits like this guy are already presenting it as a new Hollywood, and I guarantee you they're going to go try to make deals. They said this may be a stretch for now, but for creators, the attraction to Burbank is obvious. YouTubers are able to tap into the local studio infrastructure, props, talent, and technical know-how in Hollywood to improve the quality of their work and process. Here's the thing, a lot of YouTubers don't live in Hollywood. You're focusing on a few that live in Hollywood. There's a lot of really, 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 really big YouTubers, much bigger than these people, don't live in Hollywood. Here's another YouTube creator who works from 125,000 square foot campus in Burbank. Rhett and Link were one of the earlier ones that went there. Smosh, okay, yeah, they do sketch stuff. I can see them needing a whole studio. But how much money is that? You know how much money it is to keep that stuff going and how much money you have to generate? And if YouTube keeps going the way it's been going and promoting what they promote, these people are going to get buried, especially if Hollywood waves like a bunch of money in their face. They're talking about prop rentals and stuff from Universal, Warner Brothers. When you're trying to be Hollywood, people don't want Hollywood. That's why they're watching YouTube. Mr. Beast last year, because of his stuff, they said Mr. Beast is estimated to have $85 million last year from shoots in Greenville, North Carolina. Yeah, because he doesn't have to go to flipping California. Joe Rogan is in Texas. YouTube executives are not shy about pushing a narrative that they are shaking things up in Hollywood. Again, YouTube executives want to fucking take credit for everything when they've done absolutely nothing and actually made it harder for people to do YouTube. But they want to brag about it. YouTube is becoming a bigger worry for the established Hollywood companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like Netflix and Disney and all that crap because it's kicking their ass. Then here comes Avatar. Avatar's going to have little shorts. Are they releasing them via, a different streaming platforms? No, they're taking them to YouTube because they know they're free. People will watch them and they'll get ad money, or they'll make a deal where they can boost it and they'll get paid and they'll get boosted to the forefront because Hollywood, they're going to start taking shortcuts to try to get on YouTube, and it's not going to work very well initially. But if YouTube keeps going the way they're going and they're going to start pushing, more and more Hollywood stuff and letting them do this, they're going to push their creators out because all they care about is money and the bragging rights. So there it is. I'm interested in the game. Think it's cool. The shorts, I'm worried it's going to be like when they did the Star Wars ones, like Leia was, hitting Luke and all that crap because for parody. I'm worried they're going to go all in on that stuff. Even though one of the favorite episodes of Avatar: Last Airbender is when they had the play, and it was like making fun of the whole show up to that point. That was actually a pretty good episode. So if they do it that way, it might be fun. I'm hoping it's good and not just, more of the idiocy that we've seen like with Star Wars and everything, and trying to retcon it and be like girl power and all this other crap. I hope they don't do that. But as far as YouTube's concerned, they're like it's a lip service. Yes. YouTube's beating out Hollywood. Everybody wants to be YouTube. YouTube's going to own Hollywood soon. Yeah, because they're just going to start taking all the money as Hollywood tries to move over to YouTube because they don't have an audience on their own platforms, which is probably bad news for a lot of creators. Unless you're one of the big ones that suck ass and live in LA. Oh, and then don't even get me started about the fact that the unions now want to try to come into YouTube too and unionize, the writers, the performers and everything on YouTube to make it more Hollywood so they can get more dues and have more money and stretch out. And if they control, the union pretty much controls Hollywood. We all know this because you can't do stuff unless they approve of it, and they have restrictions if you're not union and all those other things. What if they come into YouTube and be like, well, you can't have your own show unless you pay us union dues? Screw that. Not going to happen. But they're trying for it because they're all trying to get in on it. And YouTube's going to open the doors and welcome them in. But when I say that, I mean welcome their money in, because it's all about money. In the meantime, we're going to keep seeing stuff being put on YouTube to try to reach a wider audience, which just tells me that they don't trust their own services to do the same thing. So anyway, there you go. Please like and subscribe, comment. What do you think about this? Please let us know, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.